The movie begins by showing a noble family of a U.S. presidential candidate named John Mackenzie with his wife, Melanie Mackenzie, and his only daughter, Samantha Mackenzie. John has been in politics for a long time and achieved great success in his career by securing a post as governor. But this year, John decided to achieve a bigger goal of joining the nomination as one of the U.S. presidential candidates. At the same time, Samantha, who has reached the age of a teenager, wants to continue her studies at a public college like other teenagers. Samantha longs for a normal life away from media exposure because all this time, her life has always been highlighted by various media, considering she is the only daughter of one of the governors quite popular in the US. Since her father entered the world of politics, Samantha never had the opportunity to have a normal life like other teenagers. She had to behave a certain manner to maintain her father's image. Even small things like her clothes and hairstyles often get negative comments from the media, forcing John to hire several experts to take care of Samantha's dress style. Samantha also often attends formal parties to accompany her father in campaigning and must behave in a certain manner, although sometimes she does not feel comfortable attending such parties. When the party was over, Samantha told her father's female assistant, Liz Pappas, about her desire to have a normal life like other teenagers. But anyway, Liz can't do much to help Samantha because everything she is going through is part of the consequences of being a member of a public figure. That night, when Samantha took food from the kitchen, her father, who happened to wake up to get some snacks, approached her. Samantha then requested that John not send as many guards as he did during high school when she went to college. She wants that college period to be a time where she can enjoy freedom without strict supervision from anyone. But John refused the request because sending a bodyguard was the only way for him to protect her from various dangers that might occur in the future. The next day, the noble Samantha underwent lectures on her first day at college, and everyone, including her parents, started to get busy preparing everything to send her away. Not only that, but various media also highlighted Samantha's pickup from Washington to California, and various security forces were deployed to guard their journey. After arriving at the campus dormitory, John and Melanie couldn't stay with Samantha any longer because they had to attend another conference to do a campaign. During her lectures, Samantha will continue to be accompanied by two male bodyguards named Dylan and Mercer. Not only Samantha, but her roommate, Mia Thompson, felt uncomfortable with the existence of the two bodyguards. However, Mia understands this because Samantha is the only daughter of one of the most important people in the United States. Mia then offers Samantha an invitation to a welcoming party held by some students that evening. Unfortunately, Samantha couldn't join the party because tonight she had to attend a party organized by her father to get acquainted with the deans and rectors of the campus. After the party ended, Samantha rushed back to her dorm to rest, but it had to be delayed because Mia wanted to spend a few hours with her crush. While waiting for Mia to finish her business, Samantha decided to watch television with her two bodyguards in the lobby. Shortly after, two senior male students invited Samantha to come to the pool party tomorrow. She happily accepted the offer and intended to use the opportunity as a way to get to know other students more closely. The next day, Samantha had to endure embarrassment because Dylan and Mercer accompanied her in learning in the classroom, making her the center of attention of other students. Luckily, a male student named James helped Samantha by distracting other students with some jokes. After class ended, Samantha approached James to thank him for what he did in the previous class. She was impressed with his attitude, which treated her like a normal person and didn't care about her social status. In the afternoon, Samantha went with Mia to a pool party held by senior students, accompanied by two bodyguards. Several senior students at the party welcomed Samantha with a very eccentric dance and a song they made especially for her. Even though she wasn't used to it all because it was the first bikini party she had attended, she seemed to enjoy the excitement of the party. However, unlike Samantha, who started to feel comfortable, Mia seemed annoyed with all the attention and special treatment Samantha received. In the middle of the party, Mercer and Dylan saw a male student carrying a gun at Samantha, so they immediately rushed to ambush the student and took Samantha back to the car. However, it turned out that the gun the young man was carrying was just an ordinary water gun, so Samantha's two bodyguards released a young man. Samantha, who felt annoyed, rushed to her father's office, still wearing a bikini, to protest the actions taken by her bodyguards. Samantha asked Liz to convey a message to John to reduce her bodyguard because she felt she had no freedom. After hearing reports from Liz, John decided to comply with Samantha's request. The next night, Mia invites Samantha to play on water slides in a lake near the campus. While she was engrossed in playing with the slide, Samantha met James and started inviting him to play the slide together. Unfortunately, all the happiness was ruined by Liz, who told Samantha that the activities she did last night had been covered by the New York media with an inappropriate title. Since news of Samantha's party activities spread in the media, Samantha has to constantly avoid being chased by paparazzi who intend to take her pictures without permission. One day, Samantha accidentally entered James' room, which turned out to be the campus guard staff. Seeing the situation in front of the dorm, which was full of reporters, James helped Samantha by offering his jacket so that she could escape from the place secretly. After that, James invited Samantha to have lunch at a restaurant while chatting with each other. In that conversation, she tried to get to know him better by asking about his family background. But he chose not to give an answer and avoided the question by diverting the conversation. After lunch, James and Samantha intended to return to the campus dormitory, but the plan was cancelled because some paparazzi had managed to find out where Samantha was. James immediately rushed to invite her to run in the other direction until they finally decided to hide in a movie theater. Since that incident, the relationship between James and Samantha has become closer, but for some reason, James seems to have doubts about the relationship. Knowing that Samantha has fallen in love with James, Mia helps Samantha by inviting James to a bonfire party that will be held tonight so that she can spend more time with him. In the evening, when Mia and Samantha are attending the bonfire party, Mia tells Samantha about a student named Flame who she really likes. But unfortunately, when Flame approached the two of them, he greeted Samantha first, which made Mia feel annoyed and envious. Even Samantha caught Mia scribbling on her family photos, so the incident made their friendship even more tenuous. The next day, James saw Samantha, who looked confused in the library, so he tried to approach her and asked what the problem was bothering her. Samantha explained that she was fighting with Mia because of her status as a public figure's daughter, making her very sad. Hearing this, James tried to cheer up Samantha by asking her out on a date together as well as an apology because he couldn't attend the bonfire last night. After changing clothes, Samantha and James left quietly so that Mercer and Dylan wouldn't notice that Samantha had left the dormitory. That day, James invited Samantha to do romantic activities such as sailing on a lake, going to an amusement park, and buying some souvenir gifts. After Samantha returned to her room, Mia approached her and apologized to her because she had been childish before. Samantha tries to understand and forgive her, so their friendship improves again. A few days later, Samantha took James and Mia to Washington using a luxurious private plane and excellent service. When they arrived in Washington, Samantha took Mia and James to a dance attended by various important officials and political figures. At the party, Samantha invited James to dance together, accompanied by orchestral music like a royal prince and princess. When Samantha and James were being interviewed by reporters, suddenly, several people intended to attack Samantha, so James immediately rushed to protect her and took her into the car. At that moment, Samantha finally found out that James was one of the bodyguards sent by her father to supervise and accompany her on campus. When she arrived at the house, Samantha immediately scolded John because he did not tell her the truth about James' identity. John then explained that he was forced to do that because recently, many threats have been shown to her, so he had to make extra security to protect her. Even though Samantha understands John's decision, she still feels annoyed because she has fallen in love with James. Since Samantha found out that James had lied to her, she tried to take revenge on him by showing affection to other men in front of James. Even she dared to dance some sexy dances in a nightclub to anger him. James, who could not stand her behavior, immediately pulled Samantha and took her out of the club. When she arrived at her room, Samantha immediately scolded James because she thought he just wanted to play with her feelings. But he denied this and said he could never be with her because their family backgrounds were very different. The next day, Liz contacted and protested against Samantha because the close relationship between James and Samantha began to be highlighted by various media. Since the news of their relationship, James was dismissed from Samantha's security unit and prohibited from seeing Samantha again. On the other hand, Melanie tries to advise Samantha to always be careful with her actions because everything she does can affect the political campaign run by John. Melanie also informed her that from that day on, Samantha would be on leave from college until the presidential election was over. Starting the next day, Samantha will accompany Melanie and John in campaigning in various places and attending various parties with important officials. Even though she felt tired from all these activities, Samantha had to keep doing all that to help her father. That evening, John asked Samantha about her feelings for James and what she thought of him. Samantha explained that when she was beside James, she felt very comfortable and happy because she was living a normal life like any other girl. A few days later, John finally won the election and was officially elected as the next US president. To celebrate the victory, John held a dance party, and at the party, he deliberately invited James to meet Samantha one last time. James and Samantha expressed their love for each other, and on that occasion, he gave her a car key so that she could go out of town for a few months. After that, they went to the end of the hall and kissed one last time before finally, Samantha left using the car that had been given by James. The moral that can be learned from this movie is, sometimes luxury and popularity doesn't always make us happy. So, appreciate whatever you have right now.